What's going on, everybody? Please enjoy part 2 of my interview with Shelby, warrior mother to Strider, advocate for pediatric cancer and neuroblastoma awareness. And understand that we did absolutely everything that we could, and we still feel like we failed our kids. And that's the biggest problem here, is that no matter what we do, we feel like, what the hell did we do wrong? And the answer is nothing, but you're never going to shake that feeling.
Well, no, and even like Strider's still here, and I still have this guilt that sits on my shoulders because I'm like, could I have done anything different to protect him from this? And in my logical mind, no, I know that. But it's always going to sit in the back of my mind because he's now going to live with this for the rest of his life, including his tumor, in which I have named Dick. And then you have the people that will come to you for medical advice now because they think you're a doctor.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, I think this is going on with my kid. And I'm like, guys, please. I'm a mom. I'm Strider's mom. This is my experience with him. Please do not come to me for advice. I know what I know, and I will be there for you through it all. But please do not come to me for advice because that is not my wheelhouse. You need to seek professional medical help. Please and thank you.
It is. we have a lot of information. We have our own experiences, but every single child is going to react differently to the cancer, is going to react differently to the treatments. And we've also talked about the fact that there are no specific 100%, this is the protocol we're going to use for this. This is the protocol we're going to use for this. It's going to be different. Like I said, we have 30 children a year diagnosed with JC's type of cancer, and the dozen that we have met have not used the same type of treatment.
Well, yeah, and Strider went off protocol 1, 2, 3 times, and now people will come to me for advice, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, this is my kid's roadmap," and they'll ask me, what did his roadmap look like? I'm like, well, that was the original, but then we got kicked off, and we had to do other things because it didn't work for him. But that's for him. Your child may respond great, and you guys won't have to go through this, and you could just skate through. But know that hiccups can happen. And then there are the families that they'll go through and they're getting treatment and they'll struggle in every single way. And unfortunately, I have seen many kids doing transplant and transplant so hard for them that they pass. They don't survive it. But yet, oh, chemotherapy is going to save them. All these people say that, oh, well, they're on chemo. It's going to be great. It's going to save them. Do you not realize how toxic this is? This is meant to save them, and it's supposed to save them, but it could also end up taking them. Yeah. Which is why we as parents keep pushing so hard, but no one is listening who needs to be listening. Not even the general public. Unless you are a loved one or a close friend, you turn a blind eye. You turn and run because you don't want to hear it. So unless you're in it, you're just like, okay, this isn't happening. And it's so frustrating because we sit here and we try to be as loud as we can as parents to share, our kids' journeys, our friends' kids' journeys, the struggles, the joy, all of it. But it's like people just don't care to help us advocate because, yes, it's one thing if us oncology parents go to, our officials. But we also need the help of people who aren't oncology parents going to the officials and being like, hey, this is a problem.
Yeah, and we don't see that because, again, if it's easy to close your eyes and turn around, and then it doesn't exist. It's easy to I think that, for me, I know most people can say that they're guilty of as a child going to a hospital, you had stitches, a broken leg, a twisted ankle, whatever, not understanding that, for us, it was 7 floors up. There's kids fighting for their life on that floor. receiving dangerous, horrible chemotherapies that you couldn't even imagine what they're doing to their bodies, you have no idea that it exists. So therefore, you can easily just turn it off. You see those commercials, the famous one that everybody knows that I will not mention. You can see them and you look and you see the smiling kids and you see they're happy and the families are happy and they're so excited that they're not getting a bill. Who fucking cares about money at this point? Honestly, yes, we need it to survive. You got to make ends meet. But at that point, when you're trying to save your child's life, I could give a shit about the bill and about whether or not they're going to pay for my food and travel. We'll figure that part out. Let's get my kid healthy again. But you see those commercials and you never expect that you will be that family, that you'll be part of that. But at the same time, watching that, fraudulent marketing that shows that everything is happy, everything is going to be fixed, everything is going to be okay.
And that's my biggest issue with those particular commercials. And I've said this a million times over. So when Strider was diagnosed, that was the first thing people told us to do. Oh, we'll go to St. Jude's. Now, did we go that route? No, we didn't, because first of all, I can't uproot my entire life. My husband has a job here. Like, I have another child. I had my grandma to take care of. Like, I can't just pick up and move across the country. And then on top of that, you see these commercials, and I was guilty of it before all this. I'm like, oh yeah, childhood cancer. Like, I know it's a thing and I know it's sad, but I also knew that those smiling faces, I knew the reality. They weren't always smiling. I knew that. But then you see those commercials now after your kid's diagnosed, and you're like, that is the biggest fraud ever. And even now, I'm still telling people to this very day. One of my old coworkers just went to a fancy dinner, if you will, regarding them, that was put on by them. And she was like, oh, they do such amazing things and they raise all this money and they'll take anyone. And I said, no, no, they will not take anyone. That's where the buck stops here. I'm like, they do amazing things. They do great things. I will give them that. But under the guise of, oh, we'll take anyone. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. They will only take you if you fit their exact criteria for their clinical trials that they are studying. But yet it's not common knowledge to their people that donate that, oh no, they do not take every kid. And that drives me up the wall.
Yeah. No, people think that. I think when people give you that, oh, did you go to St. Jude? Did you reach out to St. Jude? I think they believe for that reason that it's not common knowledge that it's a hospital that you can physically just walk into and be seen by a doctor and be treated. It's again, they accept you based on clinical trials that they are currently studying at that moment. And if you do not have the type of cancer or the type of variant of cancer that they're looking at, then no, you will not be accepted into their program. And it's it is what it is. I mean, yes, they can't take everybody, but at the same time, that is not something that is really put out there.
It's an if you know situation.
Yep. Yeah, they don't make that a very. And listen, I honestly didn't understand it until I did the research on it and understood that that's exactly the way that it goes. And and it's understandable if you're taking in that type of money and that's what your hospital's based on, then that's fine. But the reality of the situation is, I think that yes, and I've had people say this, that if they were to tell you up front, this is what we do, their donations would probably drop. And they don't want to do that. So their marketing has to be the way that it is to ensure the money's coming in to be able to do whatever that they're doing. But what I will say to this is that this is not meant to tell you not to donate to St. Jude. Okay. They do wonderful work. They do a lot of great research that they're able to share across the country. But just research where your money goes. If you're going to donate and you're going to make monthly donations, I think a lot of people blindly donate to two very, very big cancer charities because the names are well known. One is Pink, one is St. Jude. I'll just leave it at that. They donate blindly to these organizations, not because they're bad organizations, but because they are well-known names and they are well-known at what they're doing. just research where your money goes. There are hundreds and hundreds of different charities that are doing research, that are doing, that are doing outreach, that are doing advocacy for, better treatments and better therapies. They're out there. Just understand where your money's going. Don't just blindly write checks because the TV tells you to.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the unfortunate part is a lot of the other foundations that are out there, who are raising money for further research, even you guys, it's all run by parents who have either battled alongside their child or who have unfortunately lost their child. And it's so sad to see because of the fact that, you know, all these parents, us parents are pushing so hard to raise anything to try and help our kids and other kids, but yet our federal government's just like, no, no,
Yeah.
they're not a big priority. Here's 4 cents to a dollar. Move along.
Yeah. No, and they're the 4 cents thing and the 4%. When we went to DC last year, they were so excited. And unless I don't know how true it is because I can't find documentation that said that it is true, but they were so excited that they got it to 8%. Even if that is true, that still sucks. That's you can't that's not even a dime that you're given to these kids. And understand one truly amazing fact: most understanding and most research that goes into adult cancers comes from findings that they get from childhood cancers. Figure that one out and understand why more of it's going into that. Why is the Defense Department spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to study breast cancer? Where the hell is it going for the kids? And why is
Yeah.
the DO doing it? I don't understand that anyway, but I don't get it.
Yeah, because I've heard instances of them linking certain childhood cancers to people who have had parents in the military. I've heard small instances about, but there's nothing solid. So I'm like, why are they putting money into that? Why? Why are they putting money into a lot of things that they're putting into? I will never understand it. I will never stand by it. The pink, that in itself, I can't even, it infuriates me because I've worked a job where every October they do their cut-a-thon and all the money from that cut-a-thon goes to that foundation. And we're
Mhm.
talking a lot of money. And this is a nationwide country or nationwide store, not country, nationwide store. So all this money, I'm like, why couldn't they do something for the kids? A big portion of their clientele are mothers and women with children. And I had come to one of my old coworkers who is big in there, and I never got a response, and that's okay. As to like, who do I talk to about them doing for something for September for the kids? And I never got a response, and that's all right. Um, but I'm just like, if we're gonna do that, let's make it fair. Let's
Yeah.
make it fair.
No, it would be nice to see something across the board like that. I know that, Tim and I joke all the time that if we were promoting boobs or animals, we'd be making money hand over fist to be able to do out to research because that's what everybody knows and understands and loves. They want to be able to donate to those causes because that's what. And I'm going to tell you right now that the term pink washing is not something that we came up with. That is breast cancer survivors and fighters and warriors that came up with that term because the whole country, everything from the NFL to Walmart goes pink in October. But I think it's because it's just a habit to do it. It's an absolute habit. It's not because how much of that money from from the MLB or the NFL or the NHL, anybody that's doing this, how much of the money when you go to Walmart, I'll tell you what, when you buy something from Walmart that says breast cancer on it, none of that money's going to research. That's going into the Waltons pocket. And I'll tell you exactly how I know that because when I called Walmart a few years ago and asked them about what type of cancer related stuff they had, they didn't even know. And they told me there was nothing in their store. I had been there that day and realized my wife will turn those shirts around Come at me if you want to, because it's bullshit. Because it'll be all year long they'll have this stuff out. How much of that money is actually being donated to charity? How much of it is just because, hey, I can put this out on my shelf because I know it's going to sell? But you don't see any stuff for kids. And we are fighting like hell to get that kind of stuff out there, to make gold a reality, to make it an actual thing. And it's difficult. It's a struggle every single day for us to be able to raise money for research. We're out here trying to do events and we're trying to host things, and it's a pain in the ass to get people to even listen to what you're talking about. And the amount of people that tell us that our mission, save children, does not align with their giving priorities. What the hell does that mean?
I wish I knew. I wish I understood, because I literally am like, a lot of these places. So like, let's take Crumble Cookie, for example. Okay. They get a lot of money. And they do a thing for Pink every October. And I want to be like, hey, who do I talk to? Because I can tell you that most oncology kids, when they are feeling like eating, that's one of their first stops if they have one locally. We've done it. Strider ate a buttload of their cookies. But I'm like, wait. And I'm just like, why? Why do these companies not care? The only time I have ever seen anything childhood cancer related locally was, I think it was last September. I had gone grocery shopping, and I got up to the checkout stand, and the lady was like, "Would you like to donate to childhood cancer awareness today?" I said, "Absolutely. Who's the nonprofit? Who's the nonprofit?" And it's actually Children's Miracle Network, who they help out our local hospital, UC Davis. So it's like I know exactly who they were and where it's going to. But I was like, absolutely. And she's like, "Oh, that's so kind of you. I'm sure the oncology parents will appreciate it." And I was like, I am one of those oncology parents. And oh, the look on her face was sheer horror, because it was that shock factor of like, oh, okay, firsthand. But it's like, how many other people during that day said, "Oh, no, thank you. Oh, no, thank you," because it wasn't their problem.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. And you know what? I think it's time that when it comes to that whole situation where everybody knows what pink stands for. And I'm going to say it again. I've said it 100 times. I have nothing but love and respect for all the women that go through this and battle this and kick its ass. We're not coming
No,
at you or against you. Just understand that while you're fighting this battle and you're getting a world of support, whether it's coming to research or not, the world's turning a certain color for you every single month. It happens. We can't stop it. You know it's coming. It'll happen about mid-September. You'll see it start to happen. It'll start to creep in there.
yeah,
But nobody's doing that for the kids. Nobody
no,
is turning the world gold. There's nobody's one president did change the color of the White House. It doesn't happen otherwise. It changes pink though. It'll be pink in October. I promise you it will. Okay.
and
And it'll be a lot of other colors next month.
we just want to be seen. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we're asking, is that you understand that we're here. When I ask you to put stuff in your stores, I'm not asking you to give me the money. I'm asking you to make it aware, make people understand, put it at your checkout stands, put it in the front window, do something. You know what I mean? Let people know that the entire month of September, every single month, we did this before, every single month has got to been a million different causes. But September, as far as we're concerned, belongs to the kids, and they get no recognition. They get nothing.
No.
Because it's
And
easy.
the only other place you see recognition is at their cancer clinics. You walk
Yeah.
in there, it's decked out in gold, beautiful, recognition everywhere. But you go into a retail store, you see nothing.
Nope.
Absolutely nothing. But yet you'll already see pink stuff set up everywhere.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah. It's an entire population of people that are left in the dark, that are left behind, and they're the only ones that are going to be there to save you. the only ones that are going to be there to buy all of your merchandise. They're the only ones that are going to be there to keep you in office. These children are the future that you're letting them go. You're letting them pass away. You're letting them go through treatments that are archaic, treatments that were created by accident from mustard gas. You're understanding that this is a reality that we
Yeah.
live every single day.
Treatments that could save them from one cancer, but then later on down the road give them a secondary cancer.
Right. Right. That's like, I mean, look up the seriously, take an opportunity, look up the drugs that are given to children and just look at the side effects. And you're going to be scrolling for a while because the side effects are long. But one of the side effects, especially for girls, is the possibility of breast cancer later in life. So we're all connected. We're all working for the same cause here. We're all working together to try to make a difference, but we're so divided. We're so divided. You're leaving an entire group of people behind. We I don't know. I don't want to offend people. I don't want to turn people away from listening. I don't want to turn people away from supporting. But at the same time, you have to understand that we as parents, we as oncology parents, we as entire community, we feel like you don't care.
Yeah. And it's disheartening, and I wish that more people would take the time to just sit down and just listen to us and understand why. And it's not like we're coming from a place of viciousness or trying to attack anyone, but we've watched our kids go through some of the most horrendous thing any parent can ever see. There are videos and pictures that could level a man in my phone that will never see the light of day. I took them for myself to remind me of how hard my son has fought. And people don't realize that. People think, oh, you've put it all on social media. I surely have not. I have kept many things back because it doesn't need to be all out there. These things are ugly and horrifying, and I would never put that out there to scare another parent, but that was our reality.
Yep. I have the exact same pictures, the exact same videos, some that my wife has not even seen. Um, and it's, I've said it in the past that we allow you to see exactly what we want you to see. We allow you into our world as deep in as we want to allow you. And there's a wall that we will put up. We want you to hear us. We want you to see us. And we want you to understand that we're going through and our children are going through hell. But we do not want you to feel what we feel. We do not want you to understand what our daily life is and in that deep of a manner. We don't want you to understand that when the lights go out and the children are asleep that we break down. We don't want you to see that. You see strong, together, smiling parents that are there with their kids. You don't see what happens when we close the door and go inside the house. I want you to really, really think about that we are broken people, period. We will never be whole again. We will never be the same people we were before that diagnosis day. But at the same time, we are the same people. We need the support more when the diagnosis or when the treatments are done, when the bell is rung, or when our children pass away. We need the support more at that moment. Do not turn around, walk away, and decide that what's best for us is that we be left alone. That's the worst thing you can do.
No, and that's why, even now that, we are taking our time to heal as a family, I have had friends. Amanda, she lost DJ, and unfortunately, everyone walked away. And I'm the only person that has stuck around for her day in and day out, no matter how hard, no matter how ugly, no matter how scary. I made sure to always try and do my best to show up for her, because I knew that if I didn't show up, she would feel like she wasn't seen and like she didn't matter. And that I did not want. And that's why I have made it my absolute mission for anyone who's lost a child, still battling, newly diagnosed. I will do absolutely everything in my power to show up for you in those moments, good, bad, ugly, happy, sad, joyful, best day ever, ring the bell. I will show up for you. I do not care. Time of day, nothing. You call me, you text me, you message me, you blow me up until I answer. Um, because I want to be the person that I wish I had in the beginning of all this.
That is, I think that's the best way to put it, 100%. We do like I'm the same way in that sense. My phone is always on. I'm always, I mean, it's been on silent for almost 4 years because otherwise it would keep the house awake. But my phone is always with me, and I'm not hard to find. I'm not a hard person to find. I want to be there in a way that people were not there for us, and not there for us because there was nobody to be there for us. We didn't have anybody to say, listen, we're going through this. What do we do? We had one friend that I went to high school with that their child had something similar, and that I had a little bit of advice coming from them when the chemo started. But otherwise, we're alone. That first admission to the hospital was 2 weeks. We had no idea what the hell was going on. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know if she was going to come out of that hospital. We didn't know what was going to happen after the surgeries, and we didn't have anybody to ask. We didn't have anybody to rely on. Again, social worker, fantastic person, but they're one person and they have 100 patients. It's not just a family that you can reach out to or you can text and say, hey, this is what's going on, and just have someone listen to you.
Well, yeah, and that was the hard part. Like I had, my niece's friend's mom, whose daughter had battled neuroblastoma, but it was years prior. Things were very different at that point. And, there wasn't much she could tell me because things had changed. So it's like I didn't have anyone to come to who knew about what was exactly going on right now. And so that's why I had gone on social media and, started posting on TikTok. And then, Tim found me. And then all of you, the whole community just showed up for me. And now I've made some of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life, who I know are going to stick by me and be there.
Yep.
And not leave my side. Because you guys have seen it all.
Yeah.
And we're still here.
This community definitely is in so many ways thicker than blood. And it's something that you're not gonna break us because you're not gonna show us something that we haven't already seen. And we're here because we've been through the worst thing in the world. We've been through nightmares. We've been through this battle, and we're here to fight together and to make a difference. So many of our children are not here anymore. But to the ones that are still fighting and battling, we are here every day for them, and we want their victories, tiny or large. We want them all celebrated. That's what we want, and we also, I'll put it out there as in my own personal side of it. Yes, we experienced the worst thing that a parent can experience by losing our child, but I don't want that to stop people from sharing with us personally the victories of your child going through this, because we are the champions for those things happening. We want to see that happening. We want to see the bell ringings. We want to see the end of treatments. We want to see stable scans. We want to see numbers go up in the way they're supposed to go up. We want to see days when they're eating, running around like crazy children, just being themselves and not worrying about everything else that's going on in their life, because they're just innocent, genuine-hearted kids. That is what is missing from this world. We need more of them to grow up to save so much of what is happening now. We need them more than ever. And without the support of this community, and without this community getting larger and getting louder, that will not happen, because the people, unfortunately, that make the actual changes and write the laws and write the bills are not listening to us right now. They're listening to somebody got convicted. And let me just tell you, I could give a fuck. I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit either way, if whether you are for or against said person, for or against said person currently holding the office. I don't give a damn, because I'm here now. My life is still moving. I'm going to get up tomorrow and do what I had planned. I'm going to go see my daughter make an amazing pitch for her amazing idea, and I'm going to move forward with my life. I don't give a shit. Let's focus on what's important, our kids, our future, and not about fucking sex tapes and stupid hush money trials and whether or not somebody can ride a bike or not without falling on their ass. Who cares? Okay? Who gives a shit? We need to focus on the real things. And when the real things don't have an R, they don't have a D, they don't have any of that. They're nonpartisan, they're non-biased. Kids are the most precious thing that we have. Without them, none of you idiots are going to get to hold office and exist anymore.
No, that's just it. Political party doesn't matter. Nothing matters. None of what they're concerned about has any effect on my life, on my day-to-day life. But if these kids don't get to grow up, what is this world going to come to?
They need to be allowed to grow up. They need to be allowed to just be kids. These kids should not know cancer treatments. These kids should not know the inside of a hospital better than they know the inside of their house. They should not know how to spell long, ridiculous chemo drugs. They should not understand what they're going to do to them. They should not understand how to flush their own ports. They should not understand any of that. They should be able to be kids, run around, be stupid like we were, make mistakes like we were, skin their knee, whatever, do things that are dumb. That's what you're learning from. They should not be learning in the way that they are now. Until we can get people to stand up and listen to what we're saying, then it's not going to change. But the best way to get these people to listen, make them extremely uncomfortable every single day and every single day until they turn around and say, okay, talk to me, because you're really starting to make it feel weird for me to get your phone calls and your emails every single day. Wonderful. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Because right now, I'm looking at the kids' pictures on your desk, and you need to understand that every single one of them could be stricken with what my daughter was stricken with right now. And I wouldn't wish it upon you, but just understand that it could happen. And then you would care. Then you would want change. But until then, I honestly don't know what else to do to get people to just really turn around and say, kids are really important. We really need to do something about this.
Yeah. And even one of my old friends, he works up at the Capitol, he does politics, and I messaged me. I said, hey, who do I need to talk to? And he read the message and didn't even bother replying. And he has 2 small children. And he has watched all of this unfold.
It's easy to close your eyes. It's easy to shut your eyes and walk away. It's very easy. And then it doesn't exist. Then it doesn't affect you. But it will. And I guarantee that if it doesn't affect your children now, it affects somebody in their classroom. If it doesn't affect somebody in their classroom, it affects somebody in their school. If it doesn't affect somebody in their school, it's affecting somebody in their community, possibly right down the street, maybe even next door. I promise you that childhood cancer is so much more prevalent than that big fat word of rare, that if you walk down your street in your neighborhood in a mile radius, I promise you, you're going to find at least one kid that is either fighting it or kid that has battled it and has lost their life. You'll find it. All you've got to do is look.
Yeah. I dare you to go on a search engine on any social media and type in childhood cancer and then enter the city that you're in. And I bet you'll see so many posts of so many different kids fighting their own battles.
Yeah. It's an incredible time that we live in, where we can't get people to listen to what is mostly the most important thing in the world and the most precious asset that we have, which is our children. The children are the ones that are going to grow up, the ones that are going to be the politicians, be the police officers, the firefighters, the judges, the teachers. They're the ones that are going to be doing everything. And they're not given the opportunity to move forward, that we don't have a future at all. And I guess the moral of the story is that we're here and we're not going anywhere. And we're put in a position. How do we do it? Because we weren't given a choice. And so now you don't have a choice but to listen to what we're saying. Because it's not going away. The problem's not getting any better. As a matter of fact, the problem is
Getting
getting
worse.
worse. Yeah, it's getting worse.
Every day I see a new family and enter in all this. I see a new family pop up on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. They'll follow me, they'll message me, oh hey, my child was just diagnosed. Every day it's a new family that is coming into all of this. Things are not improving, things are not getting better. So you can sit here and get on Google and you can type, oh, childhood cancer cure rates, and you'll see, oh, that pretty number of, you know 80 to 90%. No,
Yeah.
that is for
Yeah.
certain cancers. If you really want to break them down, let's just be realistic about this. So like for neuroblastoma specifically, 50%. DIPG and DMG, less than 1%.
Yep. Yeah. The big number is 80 to 90% cure rates, and they are so quick to leave out the fun number. If they want to say 80% is a complete blanket number, but they want to leave out the 95 to 95% rate of recurrence and of side effects later in life that they are going to be dealing with because of the treatments that they go through. So you may be curing a lot of kids, but those 80% that you're curing are dealing with a lot of shit later on in life. And cure rate means that you have lived past 5 years, which I don't know who decided to set that number. But after 5 years, apparently you can just let your foot off the gas and move forward with life because everything is good and there's no need to worry anymore. Right? Do what you want with those numbers, guys.
But that's just the reality. Things are not getting better, they're getting worse. And no change is happening because no one is listening to any of us,
No,
including the general population.
no, and that is highly apparent in the latest, like I mentioned before, the latest social experiment that we have been running on TikTok. We're putting up a political poster, gets a lot of people in with a lot of anger. As soon as you take the political poster down and put up something regarding childhood cancer, half of the people leave within a second. And then the ones that do stick around, you can get them to listen a little bit. And every now and again, you get someone that's actually genuine. But, if you get 500 viewers, you got one person that's actually good out of that entire 500. The other 499 are completely focused on their own life and their own existence, and nobody else around them matters. And they could even tell you they have kids or they have grandkids or they have cousins and nephews. And so, I understand. No, you don't. You don't understand unless you're in this world. What you can do is you can sympathize with the fact that we're going through something horrible and you can try to do something about it. You don't have to donate. You can just sit there and listen. You can share our story. You can tell your friends about us. You can get people to come in and talk to us. View our web pages if we have those, our social media. It's about awareness. It's not about making money. It's about awareness. We don't take a salary from anything that we do. I wish that we could, because then I could live comfortably. But right now, everything we do, we give it away because we want to make a difference. And that difference often is just getting people to listen. And that's so hard to do.
Yeah, because everyone has their own agenda, and what they want to do. And if we can't get just regular people to listen, how are we going to get anyone else to listen? And
It's
that's just our reality. We're just fighting for people to listen to us. It's not a monetary issue. I could care less about money. I- but I want people to know that, yeah, Strider's doing fine now. But there was a time when we didn't know if he would get through this. We
right.
just didn't know.
It's something that parents deal with in this community every single day. Whether your child lives, whether your child passes away, whatever the treatment spot at you're in, whatever timeline, you never know. You never know what the next day is going to bring. You don't know if something is going to happen. It is another one of the unfortunate side effects of going through this. It's not a physical side effect, it's a mental side effect. We have no idea what the next day is going to bring. Everything can be fine and dandy, and it can change in a second. And it's because there's no understanding. I mean, doctors in this community unfortunately say, I don't know a lot, because they just don't. They just don't have the answers. They don't have the support, honestly, that they need. Community support, meaning the doctors around the country. I wish that there was some giant conglomerate where they got online and they had a chat with each other, a text group of every oncologist in the group, and they could say, hey, this is what's going on, and you get 7,500 responses. But that's not the way that it is. And it's unfortunate, because I think there are so many great minds. I've been able to find great minds out there that study Jace's type of cancer that were nowhere in anything that she had going on. And had I known these people earlier, I'd have had them on the case. But I
Yeah.
had to do that searching. I had to find them.
Yeah. And that's one of the big problems with neuroblastoma, is that you've got so many different doctors across the world who are studying this disease, and no one's coming up with any solid answers. We're 3 hospitals deep now, and he's been on so many different protocols that the doctors are just like, okay, well, we're going to try this, and we're going to talk to this guy, and we're going to see what he says. We're going to talk to this person. We're going to see what he says. And that's all well and good, but we're not figuring out the root of the problem as to where this is coming from. And we may never. And how we're going to fix it as a whole. But that's not going to happen because there's not enough research. There's not enough research because there's not enough funds. There's not enough funds because no one is listening. So it's this never ending cycle that we're going to be stuck in until people actually open their ears, sit down, and listen.
We definitely covered a lot, and I think we got a lot out there. And it's, the reality of it is, again, it is this platform, social media, us as parents, our voices, it's all meant to get people to listen to what we're saying, get people to understand that there is a community here that is large, it is loud, and we're, be honest with you, we're pissed off because you're not paying attention, because you're worried about the next dance trend, or you're worried about the next, politic info blast, or whatever the hell's going on. You're worried about that. You're worried about, what you're going to have for dinner. You're going to worry about where you guys are going on vacation, when there are so many people out there that are going through the worst time of their life. I want to leave you with saying that, understand that no matter what you're going through, there's a community here to be there for you, but also there's always somebody going through something. Just be nice to people. Okay? Just be good. There's no reason to be mean and be angry and be jerks. You're out there, and that person that you bump into that's had a bad day at Walmart or wherever, they may have just gotten the worst news of their life. And if you're an ass to them, you've made it worse. And Lord knows what that's going to steamroll into. Just be good people and just listen.
Human kindness.
It's an amazing thing that we're missing. But I hope we can get back to it. So I know you said that you don't want to give out advice, but I'm going to ask you to just leave us with any words of advice for this community or people listening. Just one thing that you'd like to leave them with.
If you come into contact with a parent whose child is battling or has battled, or they've lost a child, just talk to them, just listen and be there and be kind and be present, and just know that everybody needs somebody.
Yep.
Even if they say, oh no, I'm okay, I'm fine, they're not fine. Everybody needs somebody. And some people are so incredibly prideful, such as myself, There were plenty of times I said I was fine and I was so not fine. Even right now, I am so not fine. I'm watching my best friend go through the worst thing any parent could ever go through. And as she's navigating that, Strider's doing well. Our children have battled the same disease. Granted, yes, different amplifications, different genetics, but we're in our healing era, and now she's grappling the fact that she could very well lose her daughter. So be kind, be patient with people, and just be there. I need to paint on something.
I think that's perfect. Being good to people is something that we're having a real hard time with in this world in general today. So I think it's just be good. You don't know what somebody's going through, but I can promise you that somebody that you run into on a daily basis, somebody's going through the worst time of their life. Someone is dealing with a loss. Someone is dealing with potential loss. Just understand that kindness goes a long way. So I think that's a great way to put it out there. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think that's about it. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, it was definitely a pleasure having you on. I love the fact that there's just chaos and craziness going on, because that just means that things are good right now. So we're gonna take that victory, because again, all the victories should be celebrated.
His bell ringing got moved today, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay.
He's still gonna do it, and damn it, he's got one of these kids has got to rip the damn thing off the wall. Just swing from it. He's a kid. Just get on the thing and just make it happen. Okay, if they have to replace it,
I'm gonna hold his hand while he does it. We're gonna ring it together, and
there you go. Yeah, break that some. Yeah, kill it. It is, and so that is an important time, and he's definitely earned every single second of getting to that point. So we as a community, we as your family, are proud of him. We're proud of all you guys, and we know that he's going to be great. And I can't wait till that hair comes back again, because I just love it. And we still got to have a hair off.
I know, with Zeke.
Because Zeke's is just getting longer. I don't think he's going to cut it ever.
Wow, perfectly coiffed and beautiful.
It is amazing. It is amazing. But yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak with me. And I hope we can, just get a few people to change their minds and kind of open up and understand that it's a big community out there, and we're not going anywhere, and we're cool people to be around. So there you go.
And thank you for having me, Curtis. I am ever so honored. This means so very much to me. So much. And I actually spoke to my nurse coordinator today, and I told her about it, and she was like, she went and she looked up the podcast immediately. So now she's going to be listening to that as she retires later on this month.
Love it. I love it. That is fantastic. I hope we can continue to reach more families and use this as another avenue to support, and another avenue that doesn't have any censorship on it, because I can say whatever the hell I want here that social media doesn't like. So there you go. But it's been great. Thank you so much, and we will see you all next week.